marketing team first came and talked to me about working with a skincare company, I thought they were crazy. And the reason I thought they were crazy is because it's such a complicated and competitive marketplace. You walk into the department store, you get into, can have seizures from all the lights and colors and everything of all the many lines that are out there. And people change their opinions, they try things. It's a highly, what I call elastic marketplace, right? So what on earth were you thinking 5 years ago to come into such a complicated place? What was it that you were doing better than anybody else?
Wow, you're right. I may be a little crazy, but now that I'm here, I'm really happy that I am. So first of all, I'm super passionate about what I do. I think I come at it from a slightly different point of view. Number one, I'm a clinical nutritionist. I'm not trained in skincare. So I come from a nutrition stance. I have a great chemistry background, but it was all a nutritional chemistry. So I came to it from that perspective. Secondly, I have an autoimmune condition that affects my skin. And I'm uber sensitive to the sun. I'm very sensitive to chemicals. So I knew that for myself, I really needed some good, clean skincare products. So I knew that there's this whole connection between the gut and the skin and food and skin. And I thought, well, I would like to get into this market and make a difference for people like me.
So were others not addressing those kinds of things?
I am yet to meet a clinical nutritionist with her own skincare line. So I think there are plenty of lines out there that claim to be clean. For us, we bought an existing company that served skincare professionals, so dermatologists and estheticians. So I had this really critical audience there looking for some clinically effective products. And they're saying to me, fine, take out those nasty chemicals, I agree with you, but it better work and get some results for me. And so when I formulated the line, kind of as a newbie, I went in, I took my skincare formulating classes, and I worked in the lab, and it was fascinating, and I learned so much. Then I went back to my manufacturers, and I said, okay, I've got this great new ingredient. It's a probiotic, and it's going to be great for the skin for these reasons. I want to put it in this formula at 3%. Well, Ginger, no one uses an active ingredient at 3%. That's what the research is based upon. You're going to use it at 0.1% or 0.5%.
Just enough to be able to put it on the label, but not necessarily enough to be able to let it work.
Exactly, and I was just blown away by this. And I said, not me. No, my line's going to be different, and I'm going to use all of my active ingredients at the clinically indicated amounts. So they are therapeutic products. And so I'm really proud of that. And I know it's a crowded market, but I believe through our efforts in doing seminars and educating and getting the word out that we are standing out in the market. And when people use our products, they really do see a difference. And they don't have harm being done at the same time that they have benefit.
The one thing that's interesting to me and that really helped me fall in love with DM Skincare is that, again, there are these brands that have this cachet of wholesomeness, or this cachet of, it's made in Europe, whatever it is fine botanicals, and yet there are hidden carcinogens in there. That there are products that are in these balms and moisturizers and whatever that really are increasingly coming under fire as toxic, and yet they're still in them.
Yeah, it blows me away.
And you're not.
Yeah. In the United States, the cosmetic industry is not regulated by the FDA, and so many people are really not aware of this fact. And so that means that the FDA expects us to do our clinical testing of our product, but they never test it to validate that what we say is true. So many companies, for example, will have artificial fragrances in their products, and people like things that smell pretty, but when you use an artificial fragrance, it can contain up to 10, 15, 20 chemicals just to make that fragrance. And on the label, all it says is fragrance. So we really don't know what's in the products we're buying because our country, the organization in our country who would govern these type of things is not paying attention.
Right. And then the other interesting thing about you is that your products are made in the U.S.
Yes. Yeah, I'm really proud of that. What's nice for me is when I develop a new product, I can go sit down in the lab and work with my formulator. I can touch it and feel it. I've had just enough skincare formulation education to be knowledgeable, to have something to say. And yes, it's made in the U.S. We source our ingredients all around the world, but I personally source every ingredient with my manufacturer. So I make sure it comes from a good, reputable source, that it is free from other chemical contaminants. I think that if I had my business outside of the U.S., I wouldn't have that ability to closely monitor my ingredients the way that I do.
Right. And then even from a cost point of view, is it a cost advantage to be able to do it locally?
I'm going to say yes and no. Right. Maybe we save on shipping. I would say that in the U.S., as we all know, in order to run a business in the U.S., there's many other things that go into that. So we have to provide benefits for employees, et cetera.
Yes.
Wages are a little higher. Do I save money? Not necessarily. Do I think it's a worthwhile investment? Absolutely. So that's what we choose to do.
Quality trumps it all.
Quality trumps it all. And that control.
And again, even because you are selling directly to the professionals,
Yes.
you also don't have all that fancy marketing expense that goes on in the department stores for highly fancy packaging, for highly expensive celebrity endorsements that you really are about. And this is what I love about you. You are all about the benefits to the user and making sure that the quality of the product is there and it's making the difference in people's lives.
Right. I think that I'm very fortunate to be in the position I'm in where I can develop these really high quality products, educate the people who use them, and then see my consumers have wonderful results.
All right. Well, that's great. Thank you, Ginger.
You're welcome.